an Internet of Things platform. For Mr. Asep, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Duangga.
Yeah.
Can we share my file presentation?
Okay, please, Mr.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. In this session, we would like to share
QoS parameter for your okay. There is insignificant difference between the packet loss list from two operator also as it shown here. Then the average speed, the average download speed of 5G, as we remark here, in the heart of Bangkok, Thailand, can be ranked as in top 5 in the world. The upload speed become the first place. Here, the upload speed become the first place on the chart when compared to the global 5G report from the Open Signal. Conclusion and future work. The pilot phase of 5G field test at 11 BTS SkyTrain station in Bangkok, Thailand. It has been found that average download speed and upload speed are approximately 345 megabit per second, while the average latency is approximately 13
system to handle that fatality or that accident. Mass transportation such as buses contributed to a high number of accidents. This is due to the lack of awareness to comply with traffic regulation. Also, we need to observe the behavior of the driver based on the speed of the vehicle during the trip so that it can reduce the potential for traffic accident because of reckless drivers on the road. If the driver is observed to have driven the vehicle over the allowable maximum speed, the authorities will record it in the fire database, and then furthermore, the authorities may impose sanctions such as paying of fines or revocation of driving license. To support this rationale, so the authorities need a system that can record vehicle speed data at any time, equipped with a notification system for vehicles that are running over the allowable maximum speed. In this case, we try to develop a system illustration of our proposed system. We want to develop a vehicle tracking system using GPS tracker and data communication. GPS tracker will put in every vehicle. There is an onboard GPS transmission module that installed in a vehicle. It will transmit the data continuously, and the data will be broadcast and received by GPS receiver module, and then such data display in monitoring room at the authority office and or retrieve via mobile phone. Here is a hardware and software specification that we need to realize our proposed system. We install the GPS module. It receives a signal of the vehicle location at any time in the form of latitude and longitude data of their location. And then we employ one kind of electronic module we call SRM808 module. it is used as data server which store the location of the vehicle anytime. And then we use Arduino microcontroller to proceed GPS data. We calculate speed from latitude and longitude information, and then we store back to SIM808 module. And also we employ an IoT platform in our Provo system we call Adafruit.io to display all of data, especially speed of vehicle. Here is a hardware realization of our Provo system. In the left figure, we develop a low-cost GPS tracker, and then we can put this system in some of part in, for example, dashboard. And in the right side, it is an Adafruit.io dashboard, and in this dashboard we can retrieve some of data, for example, location, speed of a vehicle, and then the history of vehicle, history of vehicle speed. During experimental, we place the GPS tracker on the car dashboard, and then we observe data which display in Adafruit.io dashboard. Here we can look at the history of vehicle speed already appear in this, and we can conclude that is there any is there any maximum allowable speed in this vehicle or not? To check the accuracy of our proposed system, we compare between measurement by GPS tracker and also a dedicated application which called TechCar. In this table, we can look that the accuracy of GPS tracker we develop, it's quite accurate. For vehicle speed measurement, it's carried out by running the vehicle across certain route. The accuracy of the speed data calculated by the GPS tracker and display in the Adafruit.io dashboard is obtained by comparing the speed data with those recorded in the Google Maps application. Here in the left figure, data collection gained from Adafruit.io dashboard and Google Map to compute the vehicle speed at certain location. And then also we calculate how much discrepancy which rendered by proposed system, and also we compare with calculation by Google Maps, and then we yield that average of discrepancy is about 3.9 something. Okay, here is my remark. Tracker and Internet of Things platform has been proposed. From the latitude and longitude coordinate, which detected by GPS tracker, the location and vehicle speed could be determined any time. The speed of a vehicle is computed by using
toward his paper. You may ask question. We still have 9 minutes to go, actually. No question? All right, then. Thank you, Mr. Pongpisit, for your presentation. We will move to the third paper. I would like to invite.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. I would like to invite Mr. Frederick Apoh from University of Manchester, UK. to present his paper entitled Semi-Autonomous Framework for Propulsion Subsystem and Refurbishment.
Sorry, I think the third paper is me. Can you check?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. For the third paper is Mr. Azwar, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, from University of Indonesia, Universitas Indonesia, and Mr. Johan Suryanto. The title of the paper is Evaluation of Web Application, Vulnerability Scanner for Modern Web Application. Are you ready?
Yes. May I say the video of presentation?
Oh yeah, sure. You have
Okay.
15 minutes for presenting your paper. The floor is yours.
Okay. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Sorry. To share. Okay.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Azwar and Dr. Johan is my supervisor. Today I'm presenting about evaluation of web application vulnerability scanner for modern web application. So today agenda is the first one introduction, the second one background, the third one related works, the next one experimental setup and result. Of course, the last one, conclusion and recommendation. Introduction. Increase usage of digital application. Who now doesn't use digital application in their daily life? Switching from paperwork to digital work or work mobile remotely from anywhere, anytime. And of course it's a pandemic because our social life is changing, new habits, new policies, new ways of working, and of course new applications that are used to support our life, our works, and our daily needs. As you can see, the picture on the right is famous memes. Circulating on the internet. The question is, who led the digital transformation of your company? The answer is not CEO or CTO, but COVID-19. Yes, it's COVID-19. And from new ways of working, new innovation, and many startup companies emerging to meet many needs into the digital era. New applications have also sprung up to support these activities. Challenge. Okay, so because there's so many application pops up anywhere, and many sectoral businesses, it cannot be separated from the security holes, or we call it vulnerability content in the application. This is due to a lack of knowledge on how to create secure application and detect vulnerability in application. Furthermore, there is limited time for application developer, and doing some security testing, of course, is not many organizations have special teams or unit or division to test the vulnerability in their application. In addition to commercial tools or software circulating in the internet is quite expensive, of course. For some organization who do not have a budget, it is a problem. And the last challenge is the effectiveness of the scanner tools to detect vulnerabilities from application, especially web application. But our research, we are using well-maintained open source, and of course, if it's not open source, we are using affordable one. And for our scope testing, we are using vulnerabilities in OWASP top 10, either it from 2013 version or 2017 version. And for our benchmark target, the web application we are used based on Node.js environment and using JavaScript code language. Background. As you know, I'm mentioned about WAVS, or it stands for Web Application Vulnerability Scanner. It is a tool to find vulnerabilities in web application, consists 3 components: crawler, browser, and another.
Doctor, I can hear your voice clearly, actually.
A great challenge to the study. Now, behavior of stock I try to take value and growth rate to the good rate we able to operate. So these few factors these as how banks
Sorry, Mr.
to be said.
All right.
I'm not audible.
We can't hear your voice clearly, actually. Okay, that's good. That's good.
They are paying they
I'm so sorry, Dr. Tarahnat. We can't hear your voice clearly actually. Can you please looking for
okay. Let's so if
maybe you have to move to another positions maybe, Mr.
am I audible? Am I audible? Am I audible now?
Yeah, I can hear your voice now actually.
Okay, now is good. Now is good.
Yeah, now it's good. Now it's good.
Okay. May I share my presentation from my other login?
Oh, we can see your presentations. We can see your PowerPoints.
You
I
can
just
see my presentation.
no, I can't, Mr. I just see my face.
Okay. My presentation is not there. So allow me to present that from my screen. Allow me to present from my screen. I am not able to present from my screen.
All right.
Yeah, share screen option is there. Yeah. Share screen. I am sharing my screen. So please. Is my screen visible? Is my screen visible?
Yeah, your screen is available here. I can see that. Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay. Shall I start from the beginning once again?
All right. From introduction is okay.
Okay. I have done my research on fintech, how financial companies, how the fintech technology is helping to predict the stock market. This is how we can go for it. Okay. Now the thing is that there are few market challenges. Okay, though what kind of market challenges? There are market trends, how the market is moving on what specific things the market is going on, and so how the ups and downs, the nifties is going on, how the other countries nifties, other countries stock market is going on. The stock market is related to n number of factors. So I have collected few of the factors, market, how the market is going on, what are the behavior of the market, what are the behavior of the finance, then what is the economic condition of that particular company, what is the economic condition of that particular state, what is the economic condition of that particular country, and how feasible are the GDP rates are good or not. So these are the few things, and how the exchange rate is going on, how foreign foreign money is coming into the country, and how they are dealing with the gold, with proportionate with the gold, and gross domestic product growth. Okay, exchange rate, how banks is giving lending money at what rate. If the rate is quite high, then it will be quite tough for the company to survive in the market. So there are numerous factors, how employment and unemployment is affecting the society or not. So these kind of factors, these are the factors, numerous factors which affect a company to decide its market. It's the rate of the stock in that particular share. Now these things, how we derive those things, I have evaluated, I have find out at least 36 kind of factors. And out of those 36 kind of factors, what I found that there are five major factors, because those 36 kind of factors means study. I have done a study on, means I have done a survey on internet, searching on Google what are the criteria through which these things are done with. So I have created a database approximately of 500, near about 500 data. So with that data level, I have find out that few sections of those, how those things, now I'm talking of methodology, how with this methodology, how those things affect the methodology of the part. Okay, then coming to the economic growth, if economic growth, if our economic growth of that particular state is quite good, if the economic growth of that particular country is quite good, then definitely the debts of the, then means bad debts will be quite lesser. Non-performing assets of the bank would be quite lesser. If non-performing assets of the bank will be quite lesser, then this gives a direct impact to that particular company to and to the share part of that particular company. Then how it will be different as non-performing assets, how non-performing assets help them, because if a non-performing asset is quite less, bank become more strong, then bank will be able to give more means lends to the particular corporates or the particular companies to grow with. Then coming to the credit margin, what kind of credit margin they are looking for the particular companies, looking into the criteria of particular criteria of that particular company. So these are the studies I have done. Carrying forward, now interest rate, what kind of interest rates bank is giving, what kind of interest rate bank is giving to the customer means to say the corporate customers, then exchange rates of the what kind of exchange rates the bank is following. So here I find, means here I try to derive a formula depending on fuzzy system, means the proportionate, how means what kind of participation this particular factor, inflation, exchange rate, stability of the government, including political factors, into state of war, what means how these factors are means cooperative to means to what extent how these factors are cooperative to decide the stock market. So here the means the confidence and expectations of the market players, how many market players are there, how many competitors are there, how they are sharing their product. So there are n number of factors. I have just selected 5 factors and try to find out the resultant of that factors. Now coming with this, now moreover the pandemic situation we are in, means this pandemic is also affecting the stock market. The entire world economy has crashed down. Now they are trying, means they are overcoming the pandemic since 2019. It has improved in 2020. Now it's in second phase, third phase we are facing. Now India is going to, means there are predictions that India is going to face the third phase also. So there are numerous factors how those companies will survive under these conditions, under these clauses. So I have tried to find out few clauses and try to evaluate mathematically how our stock market can depend on. Now, what are the objectives? How I have decided to implement artificial neural network, to how we will move into artificial neural network. Then the inputs, this x1, x2, x3, x4, and xn, these are the input of the variable, how we will be getting into. I tried 5 input variables. Out of those 5 input variables are bank rates, market players, stability of the government, economic growth, and then pandemic situation of the pandemic situation in the society. Under pandemic situation in the society, how much medical facility are there or not, means which area of that particular country affected or not, because depending on their area, the business will be affected, the earnings will be affected. So these kind of situations I have tried into. So these are the x1, x2, x3, these are the input, and y1, y2, y3, these are the output of that particular layer. In output, I had tried to find out, shall we buy the share of the company or not? Shall we buy buy the share, or we shall not buy the share of that particular company? Keep the share for some time. Shall we keep the share? Shall we means I'm talking of stock keeping of the share. Shall we stock the share for 1 month, for 2 months, or suppose it may be for 3 months, it may be for 6 months. As seeing in a current scenario, I wish to like to quote an example that we are moving down to the petrol price hike of petrol prices are quite high. So when the price of the petrol price is quite high, then it is directly proportional to the stock market. Because when petrol is getting higher, then the price of the stock also getting higher. So if this means now ethanol has been included, is a mix. Ethanol is a kind of mixture which is being implemented and included in petrol. So, and ethanol are produced by the sugar factory mills. Now the sugar factory mills, their stocks are getting higher and higher. So these are few factors we have decided to how the stock will come up, and moreover, this the outcome of the part is what the future of the company is going to, means what kind of future the means company will survive or the company will demolish. This kind of decisions I try to take in care by my research model. Now, what are my inputs? Inputs of my things are bank rates, bank players, stability of the government, economic growth, pandemic, and what are the outcomes of my model? Means invest for long term or not, invest for short term or not, shall we keep stocks or not, future of the company, what are the risks to keep there, shall we buy the share or we shall not buy the share. And here I have jotted down few 36 kind of variables. I mean, for a second, for 20-30 seconds, I wish to read out some of those. Suppose demand and supply is directly proportional, dividend, then my management profile, trademarks, and then international environment, national environment, are there any war kind of situation or not? These are few things through which we can decide what means they will impact, how they will going to impact on that particular company's future or not. Excuse me. Then the correlation factor, how these variables, I have considered those variables and those sub variables, how they are correlated with each other. Suppose this is inflation rate, then errors, then finance, how these are directly related or directly proportionate or not. Here I had found out the medical supports is come in this pandemic. Medical 17% of medical support is there. Then in inflation 21% of inflation rates are there. Then exchange rate effect at least all about 5% means participation of exchange rates are there. Foreign investments, they had deviated to 11%. Raw materials, they are affecting 3%. And political factors, there are too much of political factors. Like this, I have tried to find out the relation between the factors into. Then I had evaluated the factors, how much they are affecting each other.
Sorry, doctor.
Yes.
I just want to remind you, you have only 4 minutes more. 4 minutes more.
Okay. I'm almost done.
All right.
Okay.
Please.
These are decisions and results. I have come to reason and means how results and decisions, how things are coming into in my data set, in my data frame. What are the variables I considered, and then these are the four head part. Means how they are reacting to each other, and then coming down to my confusion matrix. This is my confusion matrix 55, 12, and 21, 22. And I have implemented logistic regression training accuracy. Here the accuracy is coming to 0.6875, and the random forest accuracy coming to 0.96875. Here I want to quote that means I have considered out. I have evaluated 36 factors, and I have I made it feasible to come out with 5 factors, because 500 means almost 500 data, and creating 500 data by myself is literally very tough task. So I'm able to create only 500 only 5 factors, how they are effective. And with those 5 factors, the logistic regression about prediction of stock, they are giving 0.68%. So if we go for 36 factors, if I receive those 36 factors, then this model can perform more better. And this is what I concluded. I have gone for 503 data. I have gone for 513 data of different kinds of companies. Okay, and with 5 factors, I had implemented data analytics into it, and those functions I had created with the help of fuzzy system. So this is how I concluded. And the future work, definitely, if I get 36 variables, when my database will already with those 36 variables, I feel the approximation ratio will be more higher. So there are too many. There's so much future is there for with this model. From with this, I wish to conclude my presentation. Thanks, sir. Thank you so much for giving me opportunity to present with you in front of you, in front of so many eminent colleagues. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dr. Charahnat Paul, for the great presentations. Any question for Mr. Paul, maybe, Dr. Charahnat? If you have any question, please let me know. No?
Maybe from me, Mr. Dewangga.
Okay,
I have
from
one question.
Mr. Asep Najmur. Okay, please.
Okay.
Time is yours.
Yes, I think it's a nice presentation, but
Thank
I
you
have
so much,
question.
sir.
I have a question about, you said that in conclusion that you employ a fuzzy system in your work.
Yes, sir. Yes,
But
sir.
in your presentation, I can see what fuzzy system that you take in your work. Maybe you can.
Yes, sir. Here is the part, sir. Yes, sir. In my presentation, sir, these are the equations where I try to implement the participation of this inflation INF variable to this part. Then participation of this exchange rate, how much this participle with this inflation stock market, and this government, the political factors, how much they are affecting. What is the participation of this? Here I had studied the contribution of the part mu. Suppose a political factor MF is equal to mu of phi, and that particular factor is how much is contributing to the subsidies, how much they are subsidizing. If my political values, if my political what should I say? Politically, if any state, if we're talking, there are 27 states in India. If politically, if any state is means strong, then definitely it's going to give more subsidy to that particular with the rates they give to the tax rates to the rates they had allotted to the government. So these kind of subsidies means quite they are beneficiary to the company to survive for. If a particular state is going down, is not performing well, then definitely the state government is not able to give those facilities to the company. So it had become the burden of those companies. So this is how the contribution, how much they are contributing to that particular factor of that company, that it will grow or it will means it will grow up or it will grow down. So this is how I had tried to implement that means participation part. I would like to I designed with fuzzy the reason the equations parts. Yes, sir.
Okay. How about Mr. Asep? Are you satisfied? Do you satisfied with this answer? His answer.
It's okay.
Wow, that's good. Thank you, Mr. Dr. Charahnat.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we continue to the next presenter. You only have one question. We continue to the next presenter.
Yes, sir. May I move out, sir? May I move
yeah,
out?
please.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Now we're gonna go to the third presenter. The third presenter is, what about we have to go to from another country first, maybe the other from another country, maybe for the Indonesian outdoors, maybe can be lecture. Maybe we go to Mr. From Germany or from Iraq, maybe the first one. Okay, do you agree, guys? We go to Mr. Mrs. Ban Ali, maybe, and from Germany also Mr. Matthias Niching, maybe. Niching. Okay, first one, are you ready, Mrs. Ban Ali, for presenting your paper? Okay, please, your voice, please. Good.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you? It's a pleasure to meet with you.
Me too. It's pleasure to meet you too.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So Mrs. Ban Ali.
Yes.
Ali is from Iraq.
From Iraq.
From Iraq.
University of Babylon.
University of Babylon and College of
Yes.
Information and Technology.
Technology, yes.
Okay, Iraq. With the title An Approach for Link Prediction in Complex Networks.
Yes.
Mrs. Ban Ali, time is yours.
Thank you. Welcome. It's a pleasure and honor to meet with you in this conference.
Okay, please.
Let's, in the beginning, to go to the complex network. To make a short review about this, we are all a part of a network of social relationships of several kinds, and as a natural system, we are a delicate result of a network of biochemical events. Network can include physical objects, for example, electric network, internet, neural network in the mathematical area. Or they can be defined as entities in abstract space, for example, network of knowledge or individual cooperation. Complex network can be represented as a graph with asymmetry topology features which do not occur in simple network, but its occur in network represent the real system. Social network, it's one type of network that depend or back to the complex network. It's structure that is divided into two parts, individual and association. We can take the Facebook as example, where the individual join to the social Facebook and make a friendship with another users. And this friendship meaning can be different from one to another with the network type. In this work, we have the link prediction problem. Link prediction is the fundamental problem that is to predict the future link which will occur in the near future. In mathematical, it can be defined as a given structure of social network at time t of I, predict which new links are formed in structure at time t plus I. Time of I plus 1 in the future. In figure 1, we have seen the figure, a small figure and small example of a graph in T of I and how it can have a new connection in the future in T of I plus 1. Link prediction, widely knowledge, is one of the most interesting challenges that used in the academic and online social network. We use the co-authorship network prediction, enhanced collaboration, and exchange of ideas among scientists. It has until now been considered one of the primary objectives in the prediction of link. Suppose a graph is defined for the co-authorship network in which node as an author and age indicate the link that exists between the node. The node, it represents the authors, and the age, it represents the paper that connects those authors. Link prediction is essentially defectly with wide range application in several complex networks such as Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and other applications. The problem of link prediction in your relation has been likely studied in data mine, machine learning, reference schema, and network interconnection. Co-authorship prediction in scientific co-authors network is one of the applications that use the link prediction because some journal index sites make their collection public. Corporation data is easily accessible. Link prediction algorithms have become a tool for better understand how the particular research will grow in the future by prediction which author or group could interact. Co-author network, as we say, we have used this co-author network in this study. We use the dataset of DPLB network. The main focus of the academic social network link prediction link index the association of research from the network who will be called the network of co-authors. As we say, author and a connection may be a link between them indicate the shared research or paper as author and co-author. For predict information with given level of accuracy, data collection include additional information about the author and their article can be utilized. As we shown in the figure, there are more different techniques used for link prediction like social theory, node, topology-based, learning-based, and every one of these technologies will have another technique used. So we go to the topology-based and choose the neighbor-based similarity. Now, in this study, we choose the link GYB algorithm to introduce the future link between author and their papers. Link GYB prediction strategy is a methodology suggests in the prediction of link inside the social network by addressing large-scale social. Link GYB is easy to use the large dataset and network and easy to predict the new state of this network by small this large and massive network into a subgraph and subdiagram to search about the new link and the new collection. The basic idea we examine just the node or the pair of nodes that have not connect and they are not neighbors in the current time, but in the future that may have a connection between them. And we ranking these pairs according to a scores into a decreasingly list. The list comprises a group of real potential. List of pairs may be a friend now, but currently aren't a friend. We as well as determine score. So at the first, we make a list of all unconnected pairs. After we make this list, we make a score for this list. Can make a score by measure the similarity between them. Measure how much or take the degree for every node in this pairs. The degree mean we take for every node the neighbor that have connected and common neighbor that have connected with another node. All of this lead to small diagram for the node, which is examined to identify the number of friend top suggestion. Graph consists less slowly of possible neighbors, which overcome the scalability problem for a big network with large number of node non-friend, as it only covers a limited number of prospective non-friends. After we have the top, we have ranking this pair according to the score. We have academic and other measurements to make the best and choice from scores from this list. We have gates at past. Academic and other introduced method of prediction for families between the two nodes in a system group. Two non-friend and non-neighbor have common neighbor are cubed into consideration. The results are based on the number of common joints, these non-friends. So the score of A and B. Let's X is a collection of mutual neighbors with nodes A and B. A and B are unconnected, and we take this pair as example for measure academic and other for it. The number of common neighbor that have A and B is 3. So the score A and B equal 1 divided by the log of 3. That's equal 0.91. To take another example, if the A and B node have 7 relative common neighbors, the score A and B 1 divided by log 7. We have shown that the score in the equation A.
Mrs. Vanali, sorry.
Yes.
I just want to remind you, you have only 4 minutes left. That's an include for question and answer sessions.
Okay. So the end result is a list of the top on of families generated for each node in the graph. The methodology and the link prediction go into 4 main stages. First stage is a pre-processing, include build initial graph as shown in figure 3. We make from the dataset initial graph and show in these figures from the dataset DBLB. Then the second stage involves find the connection between nodes that exist and founded in the network, and after that we have the list of unconnected nodes. At the third stage, we ran the similarity measure link prediction algorithm on the same graph to predict the optimum link for unconnected offer. In the final, after we have the link GYB result, we make evaluation by using the accuracy measures. Also in the flowchart, import the dataset from CSV file, take part of this dataset because it's a huge dataset, convert it to a graph as shown in figure 3, create list of exist link between nodes, and make another list with unconnected node. After that, applying the link GYB algorithm and evaluation. Figure 4, snapshot of the code programming that we have running in C#. The left is referred to the unconnected list, and the right side is make the scores of each node have a prediction link in the future. These graphs show the difference between the scores that we have from the link prediction for the top 10 link prediction for each node and for the 20 link prediction for each node. In this figure, the value of a perception for the top 10 in the above figure was 0.7462, is lower than the top 20 and higher from professional measure and also the other measure. Value correspond to recall coefficients 0.356 to 0.35, a higher value from similarity measure, but compared to precision value recall have a low result with maximum value. via AUC, getting better result of the top 20 link prediction come
You only
from link
you
GUI.
only have 1 minute more.
Yes, okay.
Only 1 minute more.
Yes. And the bottom, there are a different method like common neighbor, Jackard, academic, other professional, additional. When compared with link GUIB, we show that link GUIB is more accuracy from them. There are some presentation graph represent the top author nodes that have top 10 link prediction with another authors. Conclusion, social networks are dynamic and their structure are changed over time. Studying and analyzing these networks represent a difficult task. Link prediction is one of the methods used to resolve this challenge. The study examined that the link method and on co-authorship network using the DBLDB dataset is test useful, and the evaluation of the outcomes. Accurate measurement represent the link GYB accuracy. Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you very
take
much, Mrs. Ban Ali, for
Thank
your
you.
wonderful presentations with
Thank you for
with the title and approach for link prediction in complex network. Thank you very much.
Thank you for you.
Okay. I think we have no question session, yeah, because we already our time is already finished actually.
Yes.
It's already take with you. It's take 15 minutes. It's okay, Mrs. Banali. Or
Thank
you want one or two questions maybe?
What? I don't understand you.
Do you want one or two questions from another outdoors?
No.
No? All right. Thank you very much. Okay, you can close
Thank you
your.
for you.
You can close.
Thank
Yeah.
you for to listen to me.
Okay, thank you so much. It's okay.
Thank you.
You can close your slide actually. Okay, we continue to Mr. The next presenter is Mr. from Iraq also. Is Mr. Sorry. Where is it one? Muafak. Are you here, Mr. Muafak? Muafak with the title Supervisory Control for Flexible Manufacturing System Model using S4 peer nets based on CPON. Is there Mr. Muafak here? Muafak Hassan Abdul Hussein from University of Teknologi Baghdad. It's with Mrs. Ban Ali actually. Do you know Mr. Muafak, Mrs. Ban Ali? Do you know him?
No.
No?
No.
This also from your university. You have same university actually.
No.
No. All right. Okay. There is no Mr. Muafak here. We'll continue from Germany actually. Is Mr. Matthias Neishing with the title Case Study on Gap Selection for Automated Facial Based on Deep Key Learning. Are you here, Mr.? No. No one from Germany and Iraq is absent. We continue from Mr. Eko. Yeah, Mr. Eko. I forgot it. From Indonesia now. The author from Indonesia is Mr. Eko Prasetyo with the title from Universitas Bayangkara Surabaya University, Indonesia, with the title YOLO 4 tiny and spatial pyramid pooling for detecting head and tail of fish. Is that correct?
Yes, right.
Okay. Mr. Eko Prasetyo, time is yours.
Okay. Can you see my screen, Mr.?
Yeah, yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Thank you
wabarakatuh.
for Mr. Moderator give me a chance to present my research paper. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I would like to present our research paper. The title is YOLO versi for tiny and spatial pyramid pooling for detecting head and tail of fish. My name is Eko Prasetyo and my team is Miss Nani Susiati and Kastin Fatihah. We come from Institut Teknologi 10 November and Universitas Bhayangkara Surabaya. The outline of my presentation today is background and their previous study, proposed method, result and discussion, and conclusion. The background of my research is from the survey for the set of dish that preferable by Indonesian people is fish, not the other like meat or tempe or tahu. And
All
the
right.
problem the problem is how people can recognize which is the fish with condition fresh or not fresh when customer buy in the especially in traditional market. Usually when we know which is fresh or not fresh, we actually touch the fish and this cause the problem in reducing the quality of the fish and also bacterial contamination from the hand of the customer. So we want to how to create a system that we call touchless freshness monitoring system that consists of that fish is photographed using cell phone camera, and then we would looking at the specific body feature like head, body, or tail, and then we classify the freshness the fish from the body part. Hence, the detection and localization of this part become essential to be studied and address it. So for this system, we require a head and tail detection model with the high performance and like in implementation, because we hope the system will would be implementation in the mobile system. Yeah, that we now mobile system have a limit in storage capacity or in computation. For the model that we can use in this research is YOLO, you only look once. This is the previous study. YOLO versi 3 and versi 4 achieve an accuracy about 77 and 78 for the COCO dataset. And this version of YOLO, standard version, provide excellent performance using a large model with complex layer design, and have been modified by several researchers for solving the specific problem like detection of uneaten fish food, apple flower, max wearing, and non-helm motorcycle detection. By the way, YOLO also have a tiny version for version 3. Try to reduce the size of the backbone model from .NET 53 to 9 layer for, and version 4 try to cut the GSP .NET model backbone to the GSP .NET layer 3 GSP .NET layer and 4 convolutional layer. The tiny version of YOLO is have advantage that it has a small model size but with lower performance. So the object detection with the YOLO family become interesting research because it has also high speed detection and strike forward architecture. In our experiment, YOLO versi 3 and versi 4 tiny perform poorly at recognizing head and tail of fish. And from our analysis in the experiment, this is the cause of lack of the diverse feature generated by the backbone. So how this feature would be improved by a variety of feature using pooling feature using several kernel size. So in this study, we propose the insertion or inclusion module. The name is spatial pyramid pooling in YOLO versi 4 tiny to expand the various feature map of various kernel pooling from the same convolutional layer. At specific work, SPP is inserted between the end of the backbone and the detection block. This is the diagram flow of YOLO versi 4 tiny. The above is original version. It consists of backbone. The backbone consists of some GSP and max pooling. In the GSP consists of some CPL and then cross-state partial and residual module. And from the backbone, it flow to the detector, the first scale and second scale. Our work, we insert the SPP in this part. SPP is consists of some pooling with some kernel size. The size we use is 13, 9, 5, and no pooling. And then all the result of pooling will be concate and then flow the next process. We use the data set fish head and tail detection in this research. It consists of 200 images divided into training and testing, 160 and 40, and also have 2 object class, head and tail. And every image has a number of annotation that would be split into training and testing. For the evaluation metric, we use precision recall and develop. This is for computation volume. This is the example of our experiment. The first column is YOLO versi 3 tiny, versi 4 tiny original, and our propose. The first image, we can see that in YOLO versi 3 tiny can detect head, forehead, and 1 tail. For versi 4 tiny can detect also 2 tail and sorry, it is of 2 tail. It is also 2 tail, but with different object. In our propose can detect 2 tail and 3 tail and 4 forehead. In the second image, you can see YOLO versi 3 tiny can detect some of head. In YOLO versi 4 tiny, also some head with different object. In our propose can detect more object, both head and tail. This is the result for all image in training and testing for head, tail, and all class. We can see from the training session, our propose get the best result for precision and recall with the bold sign. But but in validation session, we can see that our propose get the best result for recall only. While for the precision still achieved by YOLO versi 4 tiny original. This is in our mind, this because more feature that more variety of feature that we improve, so more object would be detected, indicated by improving in recall, but more non-head and not non-tail that also detected. So it would be decrease the precision. This is the comparison with previous research that using YOLO versi 3 and max RCNN for develop. We can see that our purpose obtain the bigger computation, because the addition of SPP in the YOLO versi for tiny. But in size, our research so also bigger compared to original version, but when we compare with YOLO versi 3 or mass RCNN, we have very small size. This is the performance in MAP for training and validation. We can see that our result is get the better compared to the other model. So the conclusion of our research is insertion the spatial pyramid tooling in YOLO versi for tiny are proven to improve the model performance in detecting head and tail. SPP is inserted between the backbone and the detector. This is to increase the variety of full feature map using multiple kernel pulling from the same layer. So using SPP increase the performance, but increasing to the computation volume and storage capacity. However, the model limit more objects that are non-head and non-tail that also detected and maintain performance, but lower computation and volume and storage would be the next research interested. This research is funded by Deputy in Strengthening Research and Development, Ministry of Research and Technology, National Research and Innovation Agency. Okay, thank you for attention and give back to Mr. Moderator. Thank you. Sorry, the voice, Mr. Dewanga.
I'm so sorry, I forgot it. Okay, we have still 5 minutes for the Q&A sessions. Anyone, if you have any question, please ask Mr. Eko Prasetyo. This is, I think, it is a good research also from Mr. Eko. Ini bisa, it can be detect fish ya.
The part of fish, Mr.
The part of fish, like tail, like the tail and the head.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. Head and tail.
Also, it can be detect a big fish, like hiu.
Yes. In next research, we also try to detect all
big fish.
Big fish. Maybe usually when we detect object, we detect all entire object, but in this research, how to the model can detect some part of the object.
All right. Okay. So later on, you will detect all the object in the fish.
Yes.
All right. Okay, guys. Do you have any question for Mr. Eko? This is very interesting. Okay. From Mr. Raihan, what is the difference between YOLO 4 with YOLO 4 and YOLO 3?
Oh, yes. The difference of YOLO versi 4 and versi 3. It is especially for standard version, yeah. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Raihan. As I know, the YOLO versi 3 using the main module is residual net that it repeat that some repetition, yeah. And for the YOLO versi 4, you see the main module of backbone is CSP, cross-state partial. and also have some repetition in the backbone. And also in versi 4 have module like apa ya? I forget. Ini ya, feature pyramid network. As I'm not wrong. Yes, and also in versi 4, yeah, in versi YOLO versi 4 have also spatial pyramid tooling in standard version, but in tiny version there is no spatial pyramid tooling. So I have a question: why in the tiny version not included the SPP? So in our research, how do we try to insert the SPP in YOLO versi 4 tiny, and the result we can see that can increase the variety of feature.
All right. Thank you for the answer, Mr. Eko, and thank you for the question from Mr. Raihan Fajar. Do you satisfy, Mr. Raihan? Okay, thank you, Mr. Eko. All right, we go to the next question for you, Mr. Eko, from Mr. Asep Najmur Rahman.
Yeah.
Mr. Eko, can you mention what the crucial part when apply your method to get the good result?
The crucial part
when apply your method to get the good result.
The method, the crucial part, yeah.
Difficult.
Actually, the difficult part is maybe the first is because the generating of data set, create new data set. So the most effort is when we create annotation for each image. Yeah.
All right.
In this result, we just use 200 image, but in each image can we have to create annotation, to annotation until about 10 annotation maybe. And this is more
annotation.
Yeah, more
right.
you have to spare more time to
all right
to create annotation.
That is crucial part. Wow.
Because apa ya? It is boring, Mister.
All right. Okay, thank you, Mr. Eko.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the last question from Mr. Ardat, Kepolisian Republik Indonesia. Yeah, Mr. Ardat. What is the hardest difficulties during your research? Okay, you already answered that. Yeah. What is the hardest difficulties during your research? That's you already answered. And the second one, and how do you tune some of the parameter such as the experiments?
Oh, yeah. For the parameter in YOLO in our research, some parameter that I have tuned like number of class and then number of buds, and also the number of filter, and then the most important is the list of answer, the list of answer, because we have to istilah Indonesianya mencocokkan with the specific related with the data set, because if each answer have specific size with the each object when we create annotation.
All right.
The other parameter we use standard from the YOLO tiny.
Oh, YOLO tiny.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Eko.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And thank you, Mr. Adat, for the question, Mr. Asep, and also Mr. Raihan for the questions. Thank you very much that you did a good presentations.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, next we go to the next presenter is from, wait a minute. From Dania Eri Dani. Dania Eri Dani, are you here?
Yes, sir. Is my
Oh, Jonathan. All
responsible?
right,
Yeah.
all right, all right, all right. Okay, Mr. Mr. Adian Fatur Rahim ya? Oh, Jonathan.
Yes,
So Jonathan Imagode Gloriwan from Diponegoro University, Indonesia, with the title Robot Monitoring and Controlling Soybean Field Soil Condition based on K nearest neighbor algorithm and method queuing telemetry transport protocol. Okay, Mr. Jonathan, time is yours.
Okay. Can you see my presentation?
Yeah, we can see. You can see it.
Okay. First, I'm really sorry for my poor camera, so my face doesn't appear perfectly.
It's okay.
Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
An honor to talk and present at this conference. My name is Jonathan Makute Gloriawan, and I will present our research entitled Robot Monitoring and Controlling Soybean Field Soil Condition based on key nearest neighbor algorithm and message queuing telemetry transport protocol. This research is motivated by soybean production in Indonesia, which is decreasing every year, and in 2019 was the lowest soybean production in 5 years. On the other hand, soil moisture affects the growth of soybeans and soybean production rate. The problem is often farmers plant soybeans by spreading seeds and letting them grow without adequate maintenance, including without checking the soil moisture. In addition, many soybean farmers who practice an intercropping system show that farmers have to take care of two types of crops at once. Based on that problem, a robot is built that can replace the role of farmers in caring for soybean soil conditions. There are many previous studies that are relevant to this research. First, Aristasiawan et al. Built a monitoring system for soil moisture, air temperature, and humidity using MQTT protocol. Then Ipin Prasojo et al. Built an automatic watering system based on the level of soil moisture. And there are results Nanto et al., Pingfeit et al., and Maxi et al. They built a system that used wild robot media to perform automatic watering based on the level of soil moisture. And next, there are Julil Amri and Martin Jasinski et al. They built an agricultural robot that using the concept of meat processing. And the last one, Surkani and Ukail, who's compared the performance of several machine learning algorithms in classifying histological images, and KNN or key nearest neighbor got the best accuracy. The methodology applied in this research includes literature study, requirements analysis and specification, design, implementation and unit testing, and system integration and testing. Then we jump to design and implementation. This system consists of 4 main components that are the robot, the watering node, the ThingsBird, and the MQTT broker. The ThingsBird is web application for display monitoring result, and MQTT broker is like server to forward data from the robot to the watering node. On the hardware design, there are 2 main hardware, the robot and the watering node. The robot is built based on Raspberry Pi 3 Model B+, which is equipped with 2 distance sensors, a temperature and humidity sensor, a camera module, and a DC motor driver, which controls 4 DC motor as robot wheels. And the watering node built based on Node MCU Fit 3, which equipped with relays that control 6 water pumps. On a software design robot intelligence, first of all, the used libraries are imported, and the program initializes the GPIO, components, global variables, and MQTT protocol. After that, a navigation and movement procedure is performed that determines the motion and direction of motion carried out by the robot based on the distance of the wall against the robot. Then the robot will measure air temperature and humidity and then send them to the broker. Then the robot will call the soil moisture classification program. After that, the robot will check whether all points have been visited or not. If all points have been visited, then the robot will stop the program. If not, then the robot will return to navigation and movement procedure. On a software designed soil moisture classification, the program will import the use libraries and initializing the MQTT protocol. And then the program will load and pre-process the dataset. After that, the KNN algorithm class is built that contains a list of methods for loading the dataset, for calculating the Euclidean distance, and classifying or predicting an image. Then the program will capture the soil image and then predict that image using the KNN algorithm. And the last one, the prediction result is sent to the broker. There are 3 tests that carried out in this research. First, KNN algorithm performance test aims to determine the performance of KNN algorithm in classifying soil images. Then MQTT protocol test includes throughput, packet loss, and delay, aims to know how well, how fast, and how accurate the protocol is. And the whole system test aims to determine the performance of the robot and the water window. On the KNN algorithm performance test, we use the dataset of 80 pictures of dry soil and 63 pictures of wet soil. The KNN performance on training data show that the 85:15 ratio produces the best accuracy and F1 score on training data. So it was chosen for the KNN performance test on testing data. In this KNN algorithm performance test on testing data, we performed the calculation of accuracy, precision, recall, and F1 score for each K value. Tests are carried out in the range K of 1 to 20. And the best K is 17, with 90.9% accuracy, 100% precision, 84.6% recall, and 91.7% F1 score. Next, throughput, packet loss, and delay test for MQTT protocol. On the ThingsBot server broker, that is the broker built in on the ThingsBot. This broker is between the robot and the ThingsBot. Has an average throughput of 1,784 bits per second, average packet loss of 15.1% for 0.2 second gap of transmission, and 2.2% for 0.3 second gap of transmission, and an average delay of 68.31 milliseconds. The HiveMQ broker, that is broker between the robot and the watering node, have average throughput of 5,040 bits per second, average packet loss of 0.2% for 0.2 second gap of transmission, and an average delay of 11.89 milliseconds. Next, on the whole system test, this test is carried out 3 times, where each test consists of 6 checking points, resulting in 18 points or test result data. And out of 18 test data, we found 3 times error in predicting soil moisture, and 1 point it has not reached the desired soil moisture condition after watering. From the result of this test, the contribution metrics can be generated as we see on the table. And the watering node got 1 failure out of 18 events. So the robot obtained accuracy of 83.3%, recall of 90%, a precision of 81.8%, and F1 score of 85.7%. The success rate of the watering node is 94.4%. In this test, time needed by the robot to check at its planting point is around 20 until 40 seconds. In this research, we also compared the growth of soybean in field with the robot and in field without the robot. And after 18 days after sowing, Soybean infield with the robot has an average plant height of 70.28 centimeters, average number of leaves of 9, and average stem diameter of 2.74 millimeters. Meanwhile, soybean infield without the robot has an average plant height of 15.72 centimeters, an average number of leaves of 8, and an average stem diameter of 2.8 millimeters. So this research is resulted in several conclusions. First, with the help of a robot and the soil moisture classification method using the KNN algorithm, farmers were able to increase soybean growth. This is evidenced by the average plant height and the average number of leaves in the field with the robot is better than those in the field without the robot. Then the robot obtained 83.3% accuracy, 90% recall, 81.8% precision, and 85.7% F1 score. The water node obtained a 94.4% success rate. Then the KNN algorithm achieved optimal performance when K is 17, and a dataset of 143 images that split into 85% training data and 15% testing data. It is obtained 90.9% accuracy, 100% precision, 84.6% recall, and 91.7% F1 score. Even so, soybeans in the field without the robot have a better stem diameter than those in the field with the robot. The recommendation from us based on the result of this research this research still use the relatively simple KNN algorithm. So further research is recommended to use an algorithm that is able to produce better accuracy, but is still practical and lightweight. This research also only has two soil classifications, namely dry and wet. Besides that, the dataset used is still relatively small. So the number of classes can be augmented and detailed in the future, and the number of datasets can be enlarged. In addition,
thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. We have 15 minutes more. So, apa? We have to closing ceremony in 15:15 actually.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very
very
much.
much. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll continue to the next presenter. Thank you very much, Mr. Jonathan.
Okay.
We'll continue to Mr. Daniel and approach Satri person already. Abdul Azam. Abdul Azam here. Mr. Abdul Azam from Badan Cyber and Sandi Negara with the title ADSB Mobile Ground Station Receiver Flight Surveillance Architecture. Okay. Time is your.
Thank you for the time, Mr. Piranga.
Yes.
We are from the Research and Development Center of Cybersecurity and Cryptography, the National Cyber and Crypto Agency, the Republic of Indonesia. In this paper, the outline we want to tell you guys is divided by 6 chapters. The chapter 1 is a background, and the chapter 2 introduction, 3 problems, 4 solution, 5 development, and 6 conclusion. The background is the President Joko Widodo on September 18, 2015, through presidential instruction, requested that the takeover of sovereignty over the Flight Information Region, or FIR, in the Batam to Natuna region could be carried out more quickly. The vast territory of Indonesia in the form of an archipelago makes the existing and owned ADSB equipment unable to cover the entire territory of Indonesia. The introduction, mostly people doesn't know what is ADSB. So I want to tell you about the ADSB. ADSB is automatic dependent surveillance broadcast. Is a surveillance technology in which an aircraft determines its position via satellite navigation or other sensor and periodically broadcasts it, enabling it to be tracked. The information can be received by aircraft traffic control ground station as a replacement for secondary surveillance radar. As no interrogation signal is needed from the ground, it can also be received by other aircraft to provide situational awareness, and allow cell separation. We have our regulation about ADSB. The obligation for transport category aircraft to be equipped with an ADSB transmitter has been regulated in the regulation of the Minister of Transportation, the Republic of Indonesia, number 81, year 2017, on the amendment to the regulation of the Minister of Transportation, number 94, year 2015, on civil aviation safety regulation, part 91. Concerning general operating and flight rules, the implementation of these policies must be balanced with the implementation of critical infrastructure for monitoring air traffic flows and improving flight safety. A primary aspect of the ADIS-B program design is the terrestrial radio station infrastructure. The design of radio station infrastructures aim to optimize system performance, security, and safety for the use of IDSB device. Many air navigation service providers and regulators have developed IDSB performance monitoring methods without a standardized guideline for system specification. The unavailability of standards makes the performance of the existing ADSB device work less optimal. In addition, the data sent by the aircraft ADSB transmitter is transmitted periodically every half second, while the data provided by the service provider is a summary of the data. And to get the full data access, we have to pay a high price. The problem is ADSB in every airport we have. One, the ADSB infrastructure requires a large area. And the second, expensive maintenance and cannot be moved. The solution, research similarity with our research is from Sarfan M et al. They all make the ADSB device system using DAM's policeman. DAM 1090 library with required device is Raspberry Pi, RTL SDR with built-in antenna. The system using localhost access with radio frequency captured and the monitoring systems use default DOMS 1090 web-based. So our development and our purpose on this research is we are making the ADSB mobile ground station receiver device system using DOM 1090 library with required devices Raspberry Pi, LTL SDR, but we modified the antenna with ADSB 1090 megahertz BCB antenna. It's more effective and efficient, about 233% better than built-in RTL SDR antenna. The system we are using is VPN access with radio frequency we have captured, so the connection is secure and the multi-platform monitoring system. Our architecture is effective and efficient because one, it's easy to use and can be implemented anywhere and anytime. And the second, cheap maintenance and device. Three, the device is continuous development because it is open source. For the calculation our range antenna, we are using Euclidean. It's closely related to Pythagoras to find the distance between 2 points. In this case, we use the formula to calculate the distance that can be received by the built-in antenna and modified antenna. The first equation formula is dxy n equal y1 and minus xy. The above formula can be reduced to the second equation. Then we enter the latitude and longitude data that have been obtained from the ADSB mobile ground station receiver to the third equation for each data. Distance between the receiver and the plane, or commonly called the decimal degree, we initialize with d. The latitude and longitude law. Data are divided into two. The first is receiver data and the second is target data. The calculation result above are still in decimal degree units. So we are needed by adding a variable earth degree where 1 earth degree is equal to 111.319 kilometers. So the third equation turns into the fourth equation to change the unit type to kilometer. The distance is obtained. 1. The result we can get from the line of sight antenna coverage that can be received from Ragunan, South Jakarta, with a built-in antenna is about 100 until 150 kilometers at a building height of 30 meters. After we change the antenna from the built-in RTL SDR antenna with a specific antenna to reach a further distance, namely IDSB 1090 MHz PCB as shown in figure 5, the acceptable range is about 250 until 350 kilometers with the efficiency of about 233%, or almost about 2.5 times as much. So we present our new architecture for this IDSB. We call it Private Network VPS Router. The data on the local server is verified using a key management service. If the key is valid, then it can be forwarded to the VPN gateway to the VPS to be used in the monitoring system, or we call it tunneling network. And the second, overall the data captured by the IDSB mobile ground station receiver into different locations. We place it in Ragunan, South Jakarta, and Serpong in Tangerang, where each data has a different key to validate the data so that it can be forwarded to the VPN gateway until the VPS. When the VPS receives the data, the VPS does not store it, but instead forwards the flow of data traffic to the VPN gateway using port forwarding to a local server in Ragunan. So the last, from the tunneling network before, data can be monitored by using various applications. So it can be called a multi-platform system. We can monitor it directly with a secure connection because the data has been verified and validated beforehand. Systems that are currently running is in Linux and Windows. In Linux, we are using Saxter and Mod S Mixer. For Windows, we can use FlagAware and Flag Simulator. The conclusion of our research is we represent the IDSB mobile ground station receiver architecture as an IDSB backup device solution that can be utilized by AirPods, critical data storage server, infrastructure architecture, and monitoring surveillance system to back up flag surveillance infrastructure device with radio frequency and secure internet networks. Briefly, we created the latest architectural standard to make the IDSB model ground station receiver to be secondary surveillance radar in Indonesian airspace that has not been reached by airport IDSB radar. So thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Abdul Azam Ajhari from Badan Cyber and Sandi Negara, Indonesia. I think we have no question. We continue to the next presenter, means the last presenter from Mr. Gegi Ajardiawan from University of Indonesia. Are you here, Mr. Gegi? All right, Mr. Gegi, can you make it fast as possible, right?
Okay.
as fast as possible, because we have
Until
to,
what time? Until what time?
maybe 20, maybe 20. You have 8 minutes now. 8 or to 10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Gegi Ajra from University of Indonesia with the title Performance Analysis of Segment Routing and MPLS L3 PBN using pmb.itts.ac.id. Understood. Okay, good. Time is your, Mr. Gagi.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. It's an
Good
honor to
afternoon.
be here presenting my paper in International Conference in Artificial Intelligence and Computer Science Technology 2021. I'm Gigi Ajiardiawan as the first author from Department of Electrical Engineering, Faculty of Engineering, University of Indonesia. The paper is performance analysis of segment routing on MPLS L3 VPN using PNet Lab. Okay, the agenda is first introduction to purpose of research, 3 scenario for result, and the last is conclusion. Okay, nowadays the 5G technology brings the evolution of new services, which is mapping the service requirements to the underlying IP network. There are three main area in the network evolution. The first is enhanced mobile broadband. This use case generally have requirement about high data rates and better coverage. The second is massive Internet of Things. This use case generally have requirement to support a very large number of device in a small area, therefore very large device density. And the last is critical communication. This use case have very strict requirements on latency and reliability, and are also referred as ultra reliable and low latency communication. This is the background of 5G technology nowadays. And then the technology that we use in this paper research, the first is segment routing. Is a flexible, scalable way of doing source routing. The source chooses a path and encodes it in the packet header as an order list of segment. Segment routing brings the concept of source-based routing together with centralized path determination to enable simplified IP network architecture. The SRTILFA, a simple fast reroute mechanism that can protect all nodes and links in all topologies and provide 100% coverage. The next is macro loops avoidance, a mechanism to prevent macro loops during network convergence. And the last is SRTE, a new MPLS-TE tunneling technique implemented based on an AGP extension. The purpose of the research is to know impact of segment routing implementation to service performance after transport layer reduction. The second is impact of TILFA implementation in reducing failover time when a failure occurs and main link move to the backup link. And the last is impact of segment routing traffic engineering implementation to SLA path differentiation in the same VRF. The first scenario we did in the research is implementing segment routing. The steps are implement segment routing into MPLS intra S domain using MPLS label stack, and then compare the number of forwarding labels before and after implementing segment routing. And the last is ping and trace route the service from source to destination to ensure the service still normal. There are several parameters and the value such as CE device, IGP type, type of L3 VPN domain, and so on. The second scenario is TI, LFA, and macro loops avoidance. The second scenario, we did some steps. There are implement SR, TI-LFA, and macro loops avoidance, and then compare the number of forwarding labels before and after implementing SR, TI-LFA, and then continue with run traffic generator, and then shut down the main link. And the last is measure and compare failover time with and without SR, TI-LFA. The last scenario, the third scenario, is segment routing traffic engineering. We did some steps. There are implement SRTE on the MPLS domain, and then trace route from the same VRF at the source to different IP destination. And the last is check the output and service performance. Before that, we also define VRF in source and destination, and define the brown path for the main path, and the orange path for the second path. And the result for the first scenario, the results are, the first is the implementation of segment routing useless forwarding labels, then the implementation without segment routing, and then the reduction, which means simplification instead, eventually helps to simplify the service provisioning process operation, and network problem handling. The second result, which is this result from the second scenario, there are the implementation of segment routing TLFA uses more forwarding labels than the implementation of segment routing without TLFA. And then the implementation of segment routing with TLFA needs less time to fail over from the main to the backup path than implementing without TLFA. And the last result from the third scenario, the first is when using RSPBTE, traffic path is always the same even though the IP destination is different each other in the same VRF. The second is the implementation of segment routing traffic engineering has the capability to differentiate its services for a particular path in the same VRF or VPN. And the last is segment routing traffic engineering becomes fundamental mechanism for network slicing. The conclusion, there are four main conclusions from this paper research. The first is segment routing is successfully implemented in the MPLS L3 VPN domain to eliminate LDP as the end-to-end signaling protocol that is established per LSP forwarding state in LSR. The reduction does not degrade service performance. Instead, it can help to simplify service provisioning, operation, and network problem handling. The second is implementing SRTLFA and microloops avoidance successfully reduce service failover time when a network failure. And out of 10 experiments that we did, it showed that an average value of failover time is about 231.75 milliseconds without TLFA and about 14.6 milliseconds with TLFA. Segment routing traffic engineering has the capability to differentiate its services for a particular path in the same VRF or VPN. It optimizes all links and provides the guaranteed SLA for a certain application. And the last is PNet Lab Simulator can successfully simulate the implementation of segment routing, TLFA, microloops avoidance, and segment routing traffic engineering in these scenarios. However, because the implementation of segment routing can only run on the Cisco iOS XRv9K version 6.1.1 and above, which requires high hardware PC specification, it is necessary to pay attention to several things such as RAM, memory, processor cores, and cooling system. The reference, there are 12 reference that we use in this paper research. Thank you. Thank you. That's all of my presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gegi. You already did a good presentations.
Thank you.
And now, inshallah, we're gonna go to wording and closing and wording too. Thank you for your wonderful presentation. Thank you for your grateful and very well presentations. Big applause for every one of us here. Hope this session is enlightening everybody in this room, and we can go back to the main room to join the wording and closing sessions. But before that, let's to take a group photo. To take a group photo for the last one. Would you like all of you open your camera, guys? Okay. Participants from students from ITTS, it's okay. Please open your camera. Mr. Arya, maybe. Novita Sari. Mr. Ardat from Kepolisian Republik Indonesia. Indonesian Police. Okay. Siap. Okay. From Mr. Arya? No? Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you very much, guys, for your wonderful presentation. Okay, now we can go back to the main. Thank you so much. Just you can leave this room and go back to the main room here.